any.
It is March 19th at 5:30 PM. It's the Parks and Recreation meeting. As vice chair from the last term, I'll go ahead and run the beginning of the meeting until a new chair and vice chair is voted on. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start with item number 2, roll call. Nate?
Let the record show all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Evers.
Thank you. If everyone would stand and please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Nate, do we have any special presentations or proclamations?
There are no special presentations tonight,
Excellent. And oral communications?
and there are none.
All right, we're speeding through this. Any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the posted agenda.
Fantastic. Let's go ahead and move forward with the approval of the February 20th regular meeting minutes. We have 4 commissioners that were in attendance that are here, so we can actually vote on that tonight. So let's go ahead and, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Who motioned?
Commissioner
Commissioner
Hanson.
Hanson? Thank you.
And at this point, go ahead and submit your votes.
Do we just abstain if we weren't at the last?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, the minutes are approved.
Thank you. Super. All right, fantastic. Well, our first action item is 8A. It's to select and elect a chair and vice chair to serve a 1-year term. Just so you know, commissioners may nominate another commissioner or themselves for chairperson and vice chairperson for the 2024-25 year. The chairperson presides over monthly meetings, is available 1 hour before each meeting to review an agenda with staff liaisons, and represents the commission at various city functions or other duties as assigned. The vice chairperson provides backup for the chair when applicable. It's important that the chair and vice chair attend as many or all commission meetings as possible. Do I have any nominations for the position of chair?
I'd like for the vice chair from last year to be the chairman if he's willing to do it.
Thank you for the nomination. I would accept that position. Would there be anyone, any other commissioners that would like to nominate another or themselves for the chair position? So since I just approved it, do we need to go through the voting process?
Yeah, so Commissioner Hanson motioned and Commissioner Ritter seconded, so we'll go ahead and do a vote.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
And the motion to elect Commissioner Ritter as chair passes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Moving on to the vice chair position, I would like to nominate Commissioner Hanson for the vice chair position. He has been a valuable commissioner for the last 3 years on the commission, and I think he would be well suited for the position.
I second.
Commissioner Hanson, would you accept the nomination?
Enthusiasm.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Probably should have closed the floor for nominations.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Are there any other commissioners that would like to nominate another commissioner or themselves for the position of vice chair? Thank you. So we have just one, and we can continue on with the selection.
And the motion to elect Commissioner Hanson as vice chair passes.
Congratulations. And thank you for that point of order. Fantastic. So we've already achieved action item number 8A. Let's move on to the meat of the meeting, which is item 8B, the Parks and Recreation Commission work plan. And this is an opportunity, basically the work plan is the document that we will submit to the City Council for approval, which will outline our goals for the upcoming year, and it will outline a lot of the direction that either the commissioners may choose to work on specific projects, or perhaps we would carry on agenda items that we started in the previous term. Once the City Council reviews our work plan, they'll approve it, and then we can go ahead and start working on the work plan. It's not something that we need to finalize tonight. It's something that we can start as a working document, and then over the next, we'll work again on it again next month, and hopefully we can kind of get it to the point where it's all clarified and we can submit it to City Council for approval. Could we go ahead and start by just bringing up the blank document, or if we have the commission work plan from last year? There are some work plan items that we did last year that, and that we've done in previous years that are just good work plan items to carry on from year to year. Yeah, so the number one, and if you'll look at your screens there under community outreach, the first item that we have on there is Parks and Recreation staff conduct 2 annual tours for the commission, 1 to observe various summer programs, and 1 to visit parks, beaches, trails, and open space. Now you'll notice under this next column under members involved, this is where we build our ad hoc teams. So the ad hocs would take on responsibility for that particular work plan and could work together outside of the meetings to achieve whatever goals that the commission is trying to do. And then they'll report each meeting as to their progress. So on that particular work plan item number 1, basically the commissioners are going to work with staff to kind of put together the annual tours. A lot of that really is something that is very staff-driven, and we can certainly take your input and direction, but they'll do a lot of the heavy lifting on that particular work plan item. But it is a good opportunity to kind of put input into what we may or may not want to see. Is there any commissioner that is interested in participating on that particular work plan item? So Commissioner Hanson is interested. We can have up to 3 commissioners per ad hoc. And so we also have Commissioner Cappiello, who is interested. We can also have 1 other. And again, as we work through these work plan items, this is all just a draft, so you may find that there may be some work plan items that you prefer to be involved with more later on, or maybe you want to come back and join one that's already been discussed. So that opportunity exists as long as it's not filled with 3 commissioners. Fantastic. Any other discussions on that particular work plan item?
Just question, I guess, as far as like dates, that would be the information that's going to make it easier to figure out what dates and times to follow through with this outreach. Where would we get that information from, like last year's visits, or if you follow what I'm asking, I guess.
Oh,
as far as
absolutely. Good question. Basically, the dates will be kind of worked out with staff. And then I think generally the dates are worked out where we'll go to the tour. It may not necessarily be on the day that we would have our regular scheduled commission meetings, but we would attend that as our commission meeting for that month, so that we wouldn't actually be meeting twice in a month. It would basically, we would hold the meeting during that tour. Do you have some more
Commissioner- or
clarification?
Manager Norgard, I'll just add that if there's a lot of work going on in the work plan, and the commission feels as though they have a lot to do, we will have a special meeting in addition to a regular scheduled meeting. So we've done it both ways. Historically, the commission has been dark in July and has not met. And one of the reasons for that is busy summer travel. And another reason is we've done our tours in July, particularly the rec tour. It's great to do it at that time because we have a lot of our rec programming going on at that time. We've separated the parks tour from the rec tour to make sure that we can give a more in-depth dive to each of those. So we could discuss, when those are going to need to happen, but generally we want the rec tour to be in the summer. I've tended to do the parks tour more towards the fall when it's starting to slow down and it's easier to get into some of the spots. For instance, last year we went and toured the Living Shoreline and Moonlight Beach, and those are typically difficult to get parking for in the middle of the summer. So different operational issues for that, but we are able to schedule these when we would have a normally scheduled meeting, and we'll go over that in a later part of the agenda today, or we'll do special meetings just to make sure we can get them in.
Thank you for that additional clarification. Any other questions on that particular work plan item? All right, great. Let's take a look at work plan item number 2. Attend city-sponsored events and raise awareness of the Parks and Recreation Commission, serve as city ambassadors by welcoming, meeting, and greeting the public, serve in a volunteer capacity, conducting various event duties as needed. So as commissioners, we do act in an ambassadorial position where we, in particular for Parks and Recreation sponsored events, we'd like to show some attendance. So as much as your schedule permits, we would love to have you participate in those specific events. And then also to be ambassadors for other sister events, like with the Arts Commission for Arts Night. We have the Spring Egg Hunt coming up, which is a really fun event that I hope that you'll be able to attend on March 30th, where we have a pretty active role in that event. So it's all part of the fun of being on the Parks and Rec Commission is to get out there and volunteer, meet with the public, and interact with them. And then also just to kind of share who we are, because a lot of people don't really realize that there's a commission that even exists. And it gives them another opportunity to talk to people, and we can share those comments with staff. In the past, we've listed it as all in the sense that we all have those responsibilities. I would recommend doing that again unless there's any dissent on that direction, but I think that's best suited. On the last column, it talks about outcomes, and basically what we'll do is we'll end up writing outcomes towards the end to kind of inform the City Council as to how we have progressed during the course of the year on that particular work plan item. So those items will end up being updated as things get completed. We have also in the past, when I take a look at some of the earlier the earlier work plans that we've put together, we kind of had them as stated goals in that last one. So I don't know if we want, and Manager Norgard, you can provide some direction on this. I think in the past, didn't we have something in the last column, like on this particular one? I think we had written something with regards to a stated goal before it became an outcome.
Sure. For each of these that we'll go through tonight, and again in the next meeting, this last column that says final outcomes, for most of the year that'll say goals. And so you'll have your goal on the left and proposed outcomes, I guess, on the right. And in years past, we've had language about, commissioners attending a minimum number of events. This year, I think the commission determined that it would say as many as possible. So there wasn't a minimum to, but we really want commissioners to go to as many as they're able. And you'll see as we get further down, I just pulled this one because it's the final work plan from the last year, that we do have more of this outcome language, but it's really based on what the goal of that work plan item was. And as Chair Ritter mentioned, these first three are kind of standing goals for each year. So the parks tours and the rec tour, staff will really lead that and get input from the commission on dates and times and things that they want to see at each location. The city-sponsored events, similar, that's really more a commission led thing, but it's something that we have every year. And then the next item, which we'll get into in a moment, identifying guest speakers, that's something that we really like to see input from the commission on so that we have somebody here every meeting. And then the rest of the work plan under special projects, these are really ideas that come from the commission. And my role as the staff liaison is to work with the ad hocs and any individual members, the chair and the vice chair, on any of these goals, help steer to goals that are good, maybe away from goals that are more operational that staff would take care of in their day-to-day job. And so we'll kind of go back and forth on some of these ideas. Some of them will stick. Some of them will lead to new ones. Some of them will probably fall away. But that's just kind of another overview of the overall work plan.
I'd like to make a suggestion, please. In the outcomes, could we have dates and events in there until we come to the final? So we know what's coming up and we can cover coverage at meetings?
Yes, and in our next agenda item, when we look at the proposed meeting dates, I have a draft calendar in there, and each meeting will fill that up with more events as they come.
Okay.
So we already have some of the arts events and some of the bigger parks events as well, so that'll help everybody kind of forecast when
Yeah.
those will happen.
I think it'd help everyone attend, knowing they have the event.
I do too. Good call.
Thank you.
Hey, question, is this document available somewhere where we could review it? I haven't seen this yet.
The document, so on the city's website, if you look under agendas and webcasts, all of our meetings will be listed there. Under the agenda link, if you click on that, it will bring up this particular agenda that we're looking at, and then if you click on the work plan, it's a link, and it will bring up this document. So yes, it will be there, and then all the iterations from previous meetings for the last 10 years or so are also online.
And this particular one, I believe, is from the February 2024 meeting.
Thank you.
The one in January will show this in more of a draft form.
On work plan item number 2, one thing that we did do, now that I was thinking about it a little clearer, we kind of broke this up where it was all for everyone to be involved in community outreach, but we had kind of an identified holiday parade ad hoc. It's a specific event where the commission is a little bit more involved with regards to putting together a parade entry for just the Parks and Rec Commission. So they work with staff. They work with staff to get signs made for us, come up with a little theme as to what it is that we want to wear or do. There would be an opportunity for an ad hoc up to 3 commissioners to participate on just that holiday parade aspect of it. Are there any commissioners that would be interested in participating on that?
You can put me down for that. I was on it last year, so.
Okay, fantastic. There is a little document too that just needs to be provided to, which is a pretty easy write-up.
I'll throw my name out there for helping.
Okay, fantastic. And again, none of this is, in concrete yet, so as we get through the work plan items and you can review what you've signed up for, and we'll also make sure that we have some availability for Commissioner Evers to join as well. So then, with regards to the stated goal language, Commissioner Norgaard, is that something that, like on these first 3, maybe I could work with you to kind of draft some language for the next meeting, and then we'll include that for consideration with the commission at that point?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. And then for other work plan items beyond these 3, particular ones that might be newly commissioner-driven work plan items, it will be the responsibility of the ad hoc to come up with that language. I think we're done with number 2. Let's look at number 3. It's identifying guest speakers for monthly meetings. And this is a really important ad hoc. This is an opportunity to bring some guest speakers to provide some depth and knowledge and understanding of things that are happening in our community. It's not necessarily always with regards to parks and recreation. In the past, we've had people from the Nature Collective, from the BCK programs with students that have made a presentation to us. We've had presentations on the sand replenishment program. We've had, I think, the San Diego Botanical Garden came in. So there are a lot of community organizations that would be interested in presenting to us, providing us some additional information. It's a great education for us. I also loved last year bringing in students to make a presentation, because I really kind of felt like it gave them an opportunity to participate in city government and then also work on some public speaking, and they did fantastic, and I know the commission really enjoyed their participation, so that might be something we look for this year as well. Any commissioners that might be interested in that? Fantastic.
I would like to be on that ad hoc as well.
Okay, great. All right, fantastic. So the next 2, the review parks and recreation fees and review the field allocation policy, unless Manager Norgaard directs otherwise, I would imagine these will not apply at all for this term.
That's correct. And just to provide a little background, the Parks and Recreation fees and the field allocation policy, these were items that the department was working on and intended to take to City Council. And as a touch point along the way, we brought to the Parks Commission. We provided briefings to each of the commissioners and then brought it here and had a public meeting to discuss it. And ultimately, the commission would make a motion and vote to recommend or not recommend staff's recommendations to council. In both cases, the commission voted to recommend it. So when staff does then take that to city council, it comes with a recommendation of the Parks Commission, which is very helpful. And so these are 2 that staff had been working on at the department level and added to the work plan. And we did get quite a bit of good feedback on both of those items from the commission, and I think impacted the way that we ultimately put those forward to City Council. And just one final note on the work plan is because it's the Parks and Recreation Commission, we try to seek some balance in the goals. So we have some parks and some recreation. So we'll keep that in mind as we look at potential future ideas.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I would say that those two work plan items from last year were a good part of the meat of what we did last year that was really beneficial, and it was great to have those items on the work plan, and I know that the commissioners that were involved in it really enjoyed that as well. Regarding volunteer recruitment and implementation, this was another one of those that we had a brand new software program that the Recreation Services Department had implemented and was working with the ad hocs on getting it set up and launching it. So I'm not quite sure whether that's something that is a continual need, or are we pretty well done with that?
I think we can discuss that with Commissioner Hamer when she returns. I do know that there are some additional needs for volunteers, and we can see at the staff level if that needs to be commission-wide or if maybe we have a couple helpers. This was a really good one last year. The commission dug in and helped us a lot with that, particularly the research for the other agencies in the county and how they're dealing with it. Now that we're up and running, I think we have some other needs. So when Manager Hamer is back, we can discuss that.
Thank you. The next one, work plan item 7. So this is a great example of a commissioner-led work plan item that was actually submitted by yours truly, and it was one of the primary drivers for why I wanted to participate on the Parks and Rec Commission. Having been an outdoor fitness instructor myself, and seeing how cities around the world are now including adult outdoor fitness equipment in their park offerings, I really wanted to see the city of Encinitas do this as well. So I've been on the commission now for 3 years. It's slow going. So I would say that this is a great example of, I have a great idea, I want to drive hard and forward, but keep in mind that things take time. And just as a quick status on this particular one, we are going to be working on putting this in a couple of our parks, and we're currently working with a consultant on creating the conceptual plans to do that, and then providing them to the community for feedback. So that's kind of where we're at this. I would just like to say that if you have any personal things that you think that would be of value for you to drive as a commissioner, this is a great example of something that you can add to our work plan, and as long as the commission is interested and the city council approves, then that's something that we can work on. I would say if you don't have an idea or something that you feel passionate about at this meeting, you can certainly go home, think about it a bit, and we can certainly discuss any ideas for the next meeting. The other thing too is I always recommend touching base with staff too, because they're invaluable with regards to kind of vetting out some of the ideas, and they've been invaluable in helping me with this particular passion that I have. So I would say also that even between now and the next meeting, if there was something that you're really interested in, you're certainly welcome to reach out to me as your chair, or Manager Norgard or Commissioner or Manager Hammer if it's recreational services. So with that said, I would like to continue this particular work plan item And so the commissioner that was involved with it with me last year is not on the commission again this year. So if there was any commissioner that would like to join me on this particular ad hoc. All right, well, at this point. Okay, absolutely. All right, we'll go ahead and add Commissioner Hanson to that. Great. And then I'll work on the stated goal language. Manager Norgard, on item number 8, what are your thoughts on maintaining the tennis court and pickleball court usage as a work plan item, considering it's kind of an ongoing thing?
Yeah, I think if there's strong interest from the commission on that, it would be good. We have not had too much conflict recently and not a lot of folks writing in on that. Staff are working on some proposed rule changes, so that may come along. Essentially, there are 2 different styles of pickleball. There's a group play and open play. And we're looking at some rules to implement, basically time for both groups to get out there. Right now, if you show up with 4 folks, you get a court, and everybody has to wait for you to finish, and then 4 more go on. Other cities in the county have more of a open play model where someone can show up and they're able to rotate on as a single or a double, and that gets folks through the line and the queue much more quickly. And there's strong pros and cons for each one in each style of play, and we've heard from quite a few members of the community that are advocates of both. So we're looking at ways to blend those. We have very limited pickleball facilities in the city, so it's important to kind of balance that. And so again, if there's a strong desire from the commission, I think this would be a great one to keep on the work plan.
In past years, this has been a conflict area, and as Manager Norgard had mentioned, there seems to be a lot less conflict than it used to be with a lot of the changes that have been proposed and implemented. But it is one of those things where I think that it's probably a good idea to have an ad hoc ready to field questions, concerns, ideas, looking at policies, et cetera. As I take a look at the ad hoc from last year, I see Commissioner Hanson and Commissioner Quinn were both on it. I think having some historical knowledge and experience on this is definitely helpful. Would you two consider doing it again?
I'm definitely in.
Okay.
I've got 2 years, I think, on that.
Okay, I think that would be great. I think the experience of what's happened before is really invaluable on that. There is an opportunity for a third commissioner to step in on that if anyone's interested.
I'd be willing to help and learn. So there's some continuity if those move on at some point.
Well, I think that's always a great thing to consider as we look at these ad hocs is looking at maintaining continuity. So I appreciate you stepping up for that. Item number 9, this is pop-up parks at city events. And this is one that I came up with the idea of adding like a little pop-up park, and we called it the Parks and Recreation Commission Pop-Up Park. And we implemented it a couple years ago at Cyclovia, which is an event in downtown Encinitas on 101, where they closed down 101 to vehicular traffic, and it's open for walking and pedestrian and bicycling and other modes of transportation other than cars and trucks. we actually set up a pickleball court on 101 and also had some cornhole games there as well. And the public really liked that, and it enabled us to also activate the southern end of the venue, which I think that the organizers enjoyed as well. So this is, last year we weren't able to do it because Cyclovia was moved to a different month, but this is an event that this year the event will occur in May, I think. So I would love to do it again, and I would like to be on that ad hoc. Is there anyone else that would be interested?
I'll go on that one again.
Okay,
Try it.
fantastic.
Okay.
I could do it as well. I was just shopping for cornhole sets.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so we need to find some more cornhole sets. There are other opportunities to maybe not do it quite so large, but to, like on movie nights, for instance, to have the commissioner set up a little pop-up park where we just bring cornholes and we manage that whole process and talk to the public there at the movie nights. There may be some other events that we could do where we, again, have a fun way to interact with the public and get them involved. So, so great. So I have a full docket there. Number 9 was a popular one. Okay, great.
Could I comment on that item about the pickleball or cornhole? Even despite not being on that ad hoc, I'm willing to help locate cornhole. I know a lot of people that have them. That's not a difficult task. If
Okay,
you
great.
need cornhole boards and bags, I can help get those. So let me know.
Okay, I appreciate that. We're hoping that we might get a little bit of funding from the Recreation Services Department where we actually might acquire some permanent sets, but you know, it's always good to have a backup plan. So, fantastic. All right. Well, again, we'll go ahead and put this in a draft mode, and we'll relook at it on the next meeting to see where everything will fall out. So the park master plan, I think it's important, and Manager Norgard mentioned this, as we consider work plan items for this coming year, to realize that we have 2 equally important departments. We have the Parks Department and we have Recreation Services. So that encompasses a lot. So I think it's important that our work plan item looks at both of those. One of the things within the park aspect of it is the Trails Master Plan. And I think it's always good to have a trails ad hoc that is involved in things that come up throughout the year. We do have a very active outside organization called the Encinitas Trails Coalition that is very involved with our Parks and Rec department, and they have some great ideas. They donate money to various causes that benefit the Parks Department. So last year also we launched an app called Outer Spatial that this particular ad hoc actually worked with the department to kind of flesh out some of the particular details that are on the app. There's probably still some opportunity for that as well. So I would say, and perhaps the 2 commissioners that worked on this particular ad hoc might add some additional details. But this is an important ad hoc and one that's kind of fun to be on, and particularly if you like to get out and walk the beautiful trails that we have here in Encinitas. Do you want to maybe add anything to that? Or are you interested in serving again on that ad hoc?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it again.
Okay.
I'd like to
Well-
join them if I could.
Okay, great, super.
I'd just like to add on that agenda or work plan item. What the commission did last year was pretty great. So as Chair Ritter mentioned, the city launched the Outer Spatial app. So there's many municipalities that are already using that, and it shows all of our assets on there, and it's an easy way for folks in the community to find what we have, from Parks Direct to beaches and trails and things like that. And if you go into the app and you click on Encinitas Community Park, you see a cool little description of it and some photos. And we did that for a lot of our bigger assets to get the app up and running and to create that content. Some of our other assets, we still need to create that content. And so that goes for a lot of our trails. We have about 20 miles of trails and numerous different segments. Some are looped, some are one way, or out and back rather. And so the ad hoc hiked many of our trails, gave us some content, gave us some photos. Staff's now working with that to kind of reformat it and get it into something that we can put into the Outer Spatial app easily. But it's a cool example of the commission working toward a product that then gets put out through our media and users get to interact with. And so it was a great kind of tangible item at the end of the year.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Another very important work plan item, and hopefully even more so this coming year, is number 11, continuing the support of Friends of Encinitas Park. Basically, it is a nonprofit organization that has in the past become less active, and then under the stewardship of our Commissioner Hanson, who has taken over as president of the organization, he's gotten all the accounting, the legal things all squared away last year, and now we're working on partnering with the department to really bring it to its own this year. And I think there's a lot of great opportunities to enhance the organization, and through that also enhance our the park department. So obviously, Commissioner Hanson, I would assume that you were going to be on that ad hoc again. I would certainly like to join you on that as well. Are there other commissioners that would like to be involved on that particular work plan item? All right. Well, fantastic. So those are basically the ones that we came up with from last year. I'd like to just ask staff, and again, this is early on, and we'll have some discussions over the next month or so for additions to the work plan, but are there any particular items that staff feels that the commission would be good to consider adding to the work plan?
I think we've covered a lot so far, and it's good to have the carry forwards. I'm definitely interested to hear any ideas from the commission, and whether we hear them tonight or any of the commissioners want to contact me directly to talk about any ideas to see if they would be appropriate. I think it would be best for us to add a couple recreation-focused ones, and when Manager Hamer is back, I think that will be very helpful to have that discussion as well. And anybody that's interested in speaking about recreation, please feel free to reach out to me, and I can loop Manager Hamer into that conversation. So right now, I think we're at a pretty good place, but certainly open to ideas. If you look back at our work plans over the last couple of years, they've been pretty wide-ranging, and we have a good foundation now.
Thank you. And then turning to the commission, are there any commissioners that have any work plan items that they would like to add to the work plan? All right. Well, like we've said earlier, we can take a little time now to consider if there might be some additional things that we want to add between now and the next meeting, and then we'll also work on fleshing out some of the details. So if you ended up getting assigned to a particular ad hoc, if you'd please work among that ad hoc to develop some stated language, and that we would put in that last column on the work plan. And what I might recommend doing, particularly for some of the carry forwards, is to look at what we did back in March or April, May of 2023, take a look at that language, and that can be a good basis for what you might put in the stated goals column. So just as a reminder, due to the Brown Act, any of the communications, emailing among yourselves, we need to limit that to no more than 3 commissioners at a time. So if you're sending an email, you can only add 2 other commissioners, which would be your ad hoc. So you can communicate among yourselves. You don't need to communicate with staff during this time, but just don't add more than that. If you wanted to reach out to either myself as chair or to Commissioner or Vice Chair Hansen separately, you can do that. Again, just making sure that there's no more than 3 commissioners total in that communication loop. All right. Well, I think we've probably pretty well taken care of what we can at this point on the work plan item, unless there's any other comments from the commission. All right. Let's go ahead and move forward to 8C, the proposed meeting dates. All right. So if you look at the screen on the left, you can see we're obviously here on March 19th. July is dark, and December is dark. Normally the first week in December, we end up holding the holiday parade, so we do kind of meet in a sense there. But for a commission meeting, there is no meeting. And then July, as Manager Norgard mentioned, that is dark for vacations, et cetera. And then at some point, we'll have a recreation services tour sometime in that June to August timeframe is normally when we work that out. And the ad hoc will work with staff to kind of figure out what date is suitable for that. So as we look at these dates, basically they're the 3rd Tuesday of every month, other than the ones that were dark. So at this point, I just need a motion to approve these meeting dates.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a little comment, a little housekeeping. When you scroll down and look at the June guest speakers, it's regular meeting on June 20th, but on the first document, the regular meeting is on June 18th.
Good catch, thank you.
June 18th, there, and here.
They're all 2 days off. April.
Are they?
And we'll update that calendar, so your motion tonight will be for these dates.
You get a gold star for noticing that.
The only reason I know those dates on June is I probably won't be here. I'll be in Indonesia. So.
Well, that sounds fun. All right, great. So may I have a motion to approve the meeting dates as they are detailed in attachment 1 there on the screen?
I move.
And I need a second.
I'll second.
The regular meeting calendar is approved.
Fantastic. All right. So that moves us on to Section 9, informational items. So at every commission meeting, we will get an operations report from Manager Norgard and a recreation services report, normally from Manager Hammer, but today we have a fine substitute in her stead. Could we go ahead and start with the operations report, please?
Thank you, Chair Ritter. It's Manager Norgard. I have a couple updates for you this evening. Each year, we close the Maggie Houlihan Memorial Dog Park at the Encinitas Community Park twice a year for rest and renovation. Our spring date closures this year will be from April 29th to May 26th, opening just in time for Memorial Day. Touching back to the Friends of Encinitas Park work plan item, we have a drinking fountain that is being installed at Moonlight Beach this week. And that's with the generous donation from Friends of Encinitas Park. And we can work together on next steps on that. This year, as in last year and the year before, we're partnering with the San Diego County Library's Encinitas branch on what's called Story Trails, and this will be at Encinitas Community Park. And so the library will donate 10 or 12 kind of small signs that will go in the park along a pathway that are geared toward younger children and their caregivers to see, and it essentially lines out a small children's book. And this will be up from April 1st through the month and coordinates with the Dia de los Niños and Dia de los Libros month that the library is celebrating. It's just kind of a cool way to get some kids into the park and reading at the same time and bring awareness for the Encinitas branch of the library. And then lastly, if you've been down to Moonlight or D Street recently, you'll see that the sand nourishment project is well underway. Lots of sand has been moved. The D Street beach access is currently closed, mostly because that is encompassed by the construction zone. As they work south, and then after that, they'll work north, that beach access will open again. And then we'll probably have an intermittent closure at Stone Steps. And so we have signage at each of those locations. We don't yet have a date for the Stone Steps closure just because it's so variable based on weather and the barge and things like that. But we do have some signage up to let folks know to expect that. And that could be a couple days or a week or more, but we'll certainly work to minimize that. And a lot of it's really up to the contractor. So if they're able to minimize disruptions, they will. If they feel that needs to be closed because their machinery is going to be going by it too frequently, then we'll need to close that down. And that concludes my report.
Manager Norgard, could you give us a little update on what's happening at Moonlight Beach?
With regard to the sand nourishment project?
Yeah.
Sure. So the sand nourishment project is a larger project that was undertaken by both the city of Encinitas and Solana Beach. We secured some federal and state funding for that, and it's part of a longer 50-year project, which would include sand nourishment on our beaches every 5 years, roughly from just north of Swami's in the Boneyards area, and north through D Street, Moonlight, Stone Steps, and then that would end just south of Beacons. And essentially, you'll have a barge like we do now, and that'll take sand from an offshore borrow pit that has been historically harvested from, and pump that sand up onto the beach, and then machines will move that and essentially restore our beach. We understand that large storms and the natural forces of the ocean will move some of that sand, so it's kind of a regional project in scale. But if you've been down there, you can see the beach is looking really great right now, and after the last couple of years of nothing but cobble, it's a real welcome return. And so as staff, we're already thinking that we're going to have a very busy summer in terms of the number of guests that we have on our beach, so we're making some preparations for that.
And I think it's due to Encinitas City Council and the staff, as well as Solana Beach. The two communities kind of went into this together years ago, about 20 years ago, to make this happen. So it is one of those things where we're getting the sand, and our neighboring cities are scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. So I can see where we'll be getting a lot more traffic this summer because we have beaches and some of them don't. In addition to the sand nourishment project, isn't there some drainage improvements that are happening there in Moonlight Beach as well? It seems to be along the Encinitas Boulevard there.
Sure, I'm not as well versed in those. The engineering department recently finished a capital improvement project to reline what they call the beach barrels, which are the big pipes that run under Moonlight Beach. That's been a huge help and was completed just in time for the big winter storms. There are additional drainage projects happening over there. For more information, we actually do have what we call a CIP sheet, a capital improvement project sheet, on our website for each of the projects that are going on around town. So if you go to the engineering department's website within the city's website, you'll be able to find that project and get some more information.
Thank you. I appreciate the report. Any other questions for Manager Norgard?
I have one. I don't know if it's appropriate for now or during the roundtable, but there was a posting on Nextdoor about razor blades in the park. What's the park by the river down here? Cottonwood.
Items like that are operational in nature, and it's best just to reach out to me.
Pardon?
Items like that are operational in nature, and it's best just to reach out to me on those.
Okay.
That we've been made aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, fantastic. Let's move on to Recreation Services, please.
Hello, I'm Nicole White, Supervisor White, giving you your recreation report for the month. So we have quite a few things. First of all, you probably are aware that our spring guide with summer camps came out on March 4th. Registration for our programs has exceeded where it was at last year, so it is climbing up. There's about 20 new programs that are being offered in this guide, which is exciting. And as I mentioned, it is the summer camp guide, so you'll see a hefty lift by our staff. There are over 50 camps offered in this guide for families and youth as an opportunity in Encinitas. And each of those camps has multiple sessions, so we definitely have the community covered there. Art Night occurred on March 9th, and just to give you guys a little recap, the event had over 1,500 people in attendance across the facilities. So it takes place at the library, the Community and Senior Center, as well as here at City Hall, and then multiple galleries around town. Attendees could access the free shuttle, and they had the opportunity to speak with exhibiting artists. They were able to purchase artworks, attend film screenings, and there were also demonstrations and classes that took place. The next thing on my list here to share with you, which you're probably aware of, is the State of the City is this Thursday. We will be hosting it at the Community and Senior Center in the Banquet Hall. I believe that a message was sent out if anybody wanted to volunteer, if you weren't already attending, that there's opportunities to do so. We want to make sure you can fulfill work plan number 2. And then we have our Encinitas Spring Egg Hunt coming up on Saturday, March 30th. And I know many of you are already planning to attend, so thank you very much for that. So this event will be out at Encinitas Community Park. We have 3 egg hunt times on 2 fields. And we have, in the past, had 20,000 eggs, and it looks like we'll have about 24,000 eggs. You heard that correctly. I had to do the math when I first heard that. I thought they were joking. But there are many eggs for all of the people that will be attending. We will also have a live concert by Hullabaloo, which is a children's band that everybody here adores. There's going to be arts and crafts, face painting, Bubble Man, lots of entertainment. And we are encouraging the community to please park at San Dieguito Academy High School's parking lot and take the free shuttle to the park because parking is limited there. So just a quick little jaunt on the shuttle. And then that takes us to the VIP Volunteers in Purpose appreciation reception that we are getting ready to host. And I believe that that's in part due to this commission's work in getting us that volunteer software, Volgistics, and the efforts that have gone into recruiting more volunteers. We are inviting over 130 volunteers that have served over this past year, and some of those invitations are to more than one person, so it might be counted as one invitation, but it is to a group that has helped us. So that's amazing for a year of growth. This event is going to be held on Monday, April 29th from 4:30 to 6 at the Community and Senior Center. You should receive that digital invitation within the next 24 hours. And print invitations are coming as well. But it'll be a fun spring-themed event. We're saying that it's due to their seeds of service to grow our community. So we're looking forward to that. And then just if you want to put any items, the Community and Senior Center improvements are going to be starting on March 25th. And this is going to include new LED lighting in the gym as well as flooring in the banquet hall. So that is getting underway. And other dates to mark on your calendar, if you're not already or don't already have them there. Arbor Day is April 13th out at Encinitas Community Park, where they'll be hoping to plant 50 trees. Movies in the Park is Saturday, March 4th at Glen Park. And then Ciclovia, as mentioned earlier, is going to be on May 19th. And that's all I have for you.
Did you say May 4th for,
Saturday, May 4th for Movies in the Park. And we'll be showing the movie Elemental out at Glen Park.
all right, fantastic.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question. On Arbor Day, last year we planted trees. Will that happen again this year?
Yep, similar to last year. And as we mentioned, it's at Encinitas Community Park this year, so we'll have a similar agenda where we'll do some demonstration planting, and then anybody that wants to come out, more than welcome. We could always use more volunteers and more help. It's usually pretty busy at ECP, so I think this year will be a good one.
Yeah, last year we had it at Locadia Oaks, and it was very popular there as well. There were more people that wanted to plant than we had trees. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Well, there certainly is a lot of options for commissioners to volunteer in the next few months here. So, particularly for our new commissioners that are chomping at the bit, eager to get going, some great activities to participate in. I'm really happy to hear, as I'm sure a lot of the people are that play pickleball there in the senior center, that the LED lights are getting installed for them. So that was an item that was brought to the attention of the commission. They also obviously addressed the staff directly as well, but there were some citizens that did come to a commission meeting and request that those lights be updated so that they could see the ball better. So hopefully that all works out. Any other questions or comments regarding recreational services? All right, fantastic. So at this point, we're at number 10, commission member initiated agenda items. I assume at this point we don't have any, as well as future agenda items added by commission members. No. So we're down to the last item, and this is the commission reports roundtable, and this is an opportunity for the commissioners to give updates, to speak on basically any subject that they'd like. And it's not an opportunity to engage in discussion. It's more of you just providing a report to the commission. So there won't be a lot of back and forth between the commissioners or staff, but it's just an opportunity for you to give updates on whatever you're doing outside of your normal ad hoc work. Commissioner Hanson, would you like to start off with the roundtable?
It's a lot easier when you're the first. First of all, welcome you guys. Thank you for joining us. Should be a good year, a lot of fun. And thanks for all you do. Really appreciate it. That's all I have for tonight.
And let's just go down the line. Commissioner Quinn?
To echo Commissioner Hanson, welcome. Look forward to working with you guys. And now that I'm in the middle of a 3-year term, and we got our tour of duty, we got our feet wet last year, so we feel more, speaking for myself, feel more comfortable in the things that we can do with the commission. So welcome, and congratulations to our chairman and vice chairman on your election. That's it.
Also, welcome for the new commissioners, and thank you to Commissioners Ritter and Hanson for your leadership this year.
I am really grateful to be here and looking forward to working with you all. And I do appreciate Commissioner or Chairperson Riddle for reaching out and at least filling me in before today of what we have to look forward to. That meant a lot, and helped me feel a little less, I guess, concerned about what's going on. But I do want to at least put out there that I'm here to learn as much as to contribute. And so if I'm not necessarily like jumping into the fray all the time, it's because I'm just really trying to get an idea of what's going on and what great things we get to participate in. So yeah, thank you all.
I'd like to echo George's thanks for the hospitality and everything, and thank you for all your help, and hopefully this will be a great year.
Thank you, and I'll go ahead and round it out. I would also like to welcome our new commissioners and look forward to welcoming the one that is currently absent today, but we'll hopefully see her next month. And then welcome back to the commissioners I served with last year. And of course, it's always great to have my fellow 3-year with me with Chair Hanson. I have said it before, this is the fun commission. There are lots of opportunities to get out and work with the public, which is really fun. We do lots of fun activities, but we also have some good, serious work that we can do here. And I am looking forward to developing a work plan that accomplishes some important items that is important to not only to the staff, but then also to whatever personal passions brought you to volunteer to be on the commission. It is a little unsettling that first year when you become a commissioner and trying to figure out, it's strange to sit up here and speak into a microphone and then trying to figure out the legalities of what's the Brown Act and just trying to get a concept of all that the Parks and Recreation Services Department does, and it's amazed me at how much the department does do and what limited staff that they have and the things that they get accomplished. So I would again extend an invitation, particularly for the new commissioners. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I've shared my email and telephone number with you. I'm happy to meet with you in person, or we can talk over the phone, but just want to make sure that you get up to speed as quickly as possible. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me or any of the other commissioners. I mean, we have a great group here, for the commissioners I worked with last year and previous year. So certainly feel free to lean on them for expertise, and you'll get to know them more as you work on the ad hoc. So welcome, and let's have a great year. Oh, Chair or Vice Chair Hanson has one other point.
If you guys only make one or two events, make the Easter egg hunt one of them. It's just a blast. And to see 24,000 eggs sucked up in minutes, it's just incredible. You can't get the kids to do that with trash. But I highly recommend you guys go. Yeah. I said go.
All right, well, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So at, let's see, it's 6:39, I adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much.